taste challenge number 7. When I did the last taste challenge, the Tecate turned out to be the most distinctive, and I got that one right. And then I was wavering, and I said that something was Dos Equis Especial. Turned out it was Sol. And if you'll notice in that video, I said, I think this could be Sol, and I should have gone with that. But nonetheless, I got it wrong. So I've gotten 3 correct out of 18 so far. And the whole point is that these beers are so similar in flavor that it's, you just can't distinguish between them. So you may as well look at price. Now, someone said, how about you do IPAs or stouts? And those would be interesting too. And I think eventually I will try to get to doing taste challenges there and see if they're very similar. And I mean with craft beers and whatnot. But today we're going to look at Tecate, introduced in 1945. Modelo Especial, introduced in 1925. Corona Extra, that was what, 1926, I think. Now these two today, since 2013, have been wholly owned by Anheuser-Busch InBev. And Tecate, that company, Moctezuma, has been a Heineken company since 2010. So we've got 2 Mexican brands owned by InBev and one of the Heineken brands. So I'll put labels at the bottom. At first I put XX, Dos Equis, and I said, wait a minute, that's Tecate. I'll just scratch it out and change it. We got the, Corona Extra and the Modelo. I'll try to keep it straight. All right, twist cap, conveniently enough. Now I've always said to me, Tecate was the best, good smoke, mass-produced Mexican lager beer. Put too much in there, really. Okay. This will show if that's really the case, if I can't guess. Good amount of smoke. Now you get this clear bottle, you gotta hope it's not skunked. I pulled one from the back of the rack because I wanted to try to get one that wasn't so light exposed. And then the beautiful Modelo bottle, 12-ounce bottle with that foil shroud. I just love the Modelo bottles. They're about $1.78 for these singles at the racetrack gas station, but smoke, you'll pay some more to buy singles. And I keep pouring too much. I wanted to drink these over an extended period of time, not all right now. All right, dummy. Okay. They had Victoria, the Vienna lager, but it was $9.99 a 6-pack, and I said, I don't think I'm going to do that. So I just told the lady I'm going to put it back on the shelf. I can already smell some skunks. All right, well, put these bottles to the side, and then we'll start mixing. You can see that Tecate had the least amount of head. Okay, well anyway, try not to look. When I first started drinking beer back in February 1996, I wanted to just try all the different brands. I had no goal, let me drink this and that. I mean, I knew there was some sort of people had opinions like they preferred imported beers over American, and I had seen some people say that. And then I knew about the micro, they used to say microbrew back then, and I was trying all of those, especially the ones from Louisiana like Rick and Jack's and Acadian Brewing. Both of those are going. But I was just drinking whatever, I never made a differentiation between macro beers and craft beers, really. I remember they had the Crash in '96 with the original craft beer Crash and all, and then it was later on, and early 2000s, I realized there were certain beers you weren't supposed to like, and that always, never could get over that. I was like, well, reading on Beer Advocate Rate Beer about people's comments about Schlitz, and I'm like, doesn't taste bad to me. I don't know what they're talking about. All right. Anyway, let's go on. This is the first one, whatever it is. Well, it smells a little skunky, but just a little bit. And that's dissipating. And I don't hear any crackling, so the head must have died away. I can't see, my eyes are closed. But mainly it's just very pale barley malt. Pale barley malt, sweetness, breadiness, hoppiness. I really don't pick up any adjunct. Some people say Corona has adjunct, but you get on the Corona website, the websites, because there's so many different ones, and they don't really talk about adjunct. Very sweet barley malt grassiness. It reminds me of Euro pale lager, really, a Euro lager. Let's go with the flavor. Grassy hops, I mean. And these are all similar in alcohol content, ABV. So I left my list in the other one, but they're very similar. 4.5, around that. Very grassy hops. I think I know what this is just from the hop presentation. Next, don't know what it is. I'm not cheating. Have no mind to cheat. Now there's not as much of a hop note here at all. It's much more neutral and just like very, very mild barley. Get more of a hop pickup in the taste, the sip. Little paperiness. Okay, didn't taste like the other one. Now I did the cheese and crackers in between the beers in the last sip, the last sample challenge, but it didn't seem to help. Also, a lower profile sweetness, lightly roasted barley malt and hops. So the first one had the highest hop note for sure. All pleasant though, to tell you the truth. Now second and third sample did have a little paperiness, which I find is so characteristic for Latin American beers. But when I started drinking beer back in February '96, we would go to the Mexican restaurant, this place called Bertha's, which is gone. We'd hang out on Fridays after we would finish teaching school, and a lot of us drank Corona Extra, and we put the lime in it, which everybody did that. I didn't think much about it. But I always liked Corona Extra. I said, oh, it tastes good to me. And then somebody said, no, that's bad. Don't you realize that's bad beer? No, I thought it was good. A little sugariness here. Okay. I'm trying to reach down without knocking them over. this one's got the most little skunkiness, but it's not. None of the skunkiness at any of this, at any point in this, was offensive, and it wasn't so much like skunkiness as it was the hoppiness. And I remarked on the grassy hops there. I mean, I used to get really bad skunk. The worst was from the Bud Ice clear bottle. I would get those, and that would just throw you back. And then the mouthfeel was so slimy. I mean, it was really tainted with the light damage. But that's why I only buy Bud Ice in cans of the brown bottles. Let's go with this one. I always said that I think I know what it is, but then, well, actually, somebody said I have no clue. I'll just guess. Well, let me say this to you. I have to say, all three are very pleasant. They're all three are brewed with, to me, a very high quality standard. So some people might say trash beer, crap beer, it's all terrible. Well, that's your opinion, that's fine, but I just don't see it. I never could grasp that. To me, they're not bad. And in fact, it's not that they're just not bad. Most of these macro beers I drink are actually good. They're far into the good side. Much, so forget bad. So it's just a matter of opinion. Now, some people take it into a personal thing. They say, oh, I'm going to talk about you personally because we disagree on beverages. I just don't want to get into that sort of demented type approach. And it's sort of common, that approach, especially unfortunately in the craft beer world, and people remark about it all the time, that there's this sort of insecurity with the craft beer world. And I mean the craft beer snobs. The beer snobs kind of exemplify that. And there's sort of an insecurity, and so they have this compulsion to rip on all the macro beers, and they'll say, well, macro beers don't matter. They don't matter, but then that's all they talk about all the time. So it obviously matters, and it's sort of like a vampire with a cross. In the old movies, they would show a crucifix to the Dracula or other vampires, and they'd seize up, and it's sort of like that. The beer snobs, you show them a bottle of Budweiser, and they, Budweiser, no one cares about Budweiser, it doesn't matter. So it's like, well, it might matter. Okay, anyway, let's go with guessing now. They all look kind of the same. One's got less lacing, but I'm going to close my eyes and give it one last taste. I think this is Tecate, because I always remember Tecate having a little more of a hop profile. And I think this is Corona, because Corona tends to have that grassy hop thing going. And no use hiding my eyes now. And I think this is Modelo. And let me go grab that little sheet. Oh yeah, I wrote it down. Nick, so addle-brained. I was writing these down for the darker beers that I was going to do. Negro, Modelo, Dos Equis, Ambar, and the third one, the Modelo, whatever that third one is, I can't remember. Alright, so these are the pale ones. Anyway, they're all, I think, if I remember right, it's like 4.5. I think Corona's what, 5 or 4.8, and Tecate's 4.8. I don't know. I'll post it on my notes, but they're very similar. So let's see if I got it right. Corona Extra. Modelo. Right. And of course Tecate. Well, All right, I don't know what's going on with this. 3 out of 21. That's not a good average, but so it proves a few points. I don't know how to tell the difference between macro beers, but on the other hand, they all tasted good. I've done 21 and I've enjoyed them all. They're all good. I mean, to me, if you like good beers, look at my taste challenges, and there's some good ones to try. I mean, you know, some of the light ones I don't buy because they're too dull, but they're good in their dullness, you know, if you like the dull beer or the light beer category. Some people adore that. But, and if you're shopping for, like say, I'm going to go buy some Mexican lagers, just get whatever's cheapest. Tecate is usually the cheapest of these, $5.99. You might see this for $7.99. This might be $6.99. I'd go with Tecate, but whatever you enjoy. So thank you for suffering me to do this challenge, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'd like to get your feedback. And the next one is the dark beers, the dark Mexican beers. Thank you for watching this video production.